Hey everyone, it's that time of the week. It's time to meal plan and grocery shop. And today I have a few tips for you on how to save money when you're making your household meals. Whether you're trying to cut your budget to save for something big or just trying to get a handle on rising grocery costs, I really hope this can help. If you are new here, welcome. I'm Corey and I'm a type A personality that is on a journey to maintain my productivity by working smarter, not harder, so I can live a more simple and fulfilling life. I am a realtor and a managing broker here in Washington State, and I work full-time in real estate. Welcome to my channel. To preface this video, I want you to know that when I meal plan, I choose a very general lineup of meals based on our schedules and the calendar. But generally, I'm very flexible about which days will include which meals. I'll choose 5 meals for a 7-day week, and then you'll see what I'll do with the rest of those days. Number 1, you really need to start shopping your fridge, freezer, and pantry first before you even leave for the grocery store. This helps you save money and food waste, as when you start there, you can take a minute to straighten up and prepare your home for new food, but you can also take note of what food needs to be used up, what food you have an excess of, and staples that you may be running low on or out of. Number 2 is you need to reduce your meat consumption. And I know this is a hard one for a lot of people, but I promise you, eliminating meat is not the only option here to reduce your meat consumption. First, of course, you can incorporate more vegetarian meals into your diet. Ways to do this are to make breakfast or lunches vegetarian as a staple, or you can even choose a day of the week that you're going to make meatless. For example, Meatless Monday. Another way to reduce your meat consumption is to not make meat the star of the show, like a chicken breast with potatoes and veggies on the side, or a steak with veggies and potatoes on the side, right? You can instead make it a supporting character in your meal. This really allows you to easily reduce the amount of meat in a meal in a way that isn't really noticeable. For example, soups and casseroles are both meals that include a lot of ingredients other than the meat. So what you can do is, if a recipe calls for a pound of Italian sausage, let's say, you can instead reduce that to half a pound of Italian sausage or even a third of a pound. I have done before, depending on what the meal is. It really has little to no impact on the flavor of the dish, but it can drastically cut the cost to prepare the dish. You can even bulk up other ingredients like beans or veggies and still really nobody in your family will notice. My husband has no idea I've been doing this for years. Keep in mind that ingredients like beans and veggies are much cheaper than meat. So if you want to add more to make up for the loss of meat, doing things like lentils, beans, and veggies, you're going to be adding a little bit of expense, but pennies, versus with meat, you're adding dollars. As a happy result of reducing the amount of meat that you use per dish, you're actually stretching that same 1 pound of meat to 2 or 3 meals, which is a huge increase when you're looking at your overall budget. Number 3, you need to eat leftovers. I know a lot of people are going to really sigh about this one, but this is one of the big changes that made a difference to us as a household when we started this journey of trying to reduce our grocery budget. Over almost a decade ago now, we started this journey and we had to learn to love leftovers. As newlyweds, if it didn't get eaten that night, it didn't get eaten at all. This led to a lot of food waste. And around that same time, I read a book called Cut Your Grocery Bill in Half by the Yakima-Corie family. And that book had a really big impact on me. My husband wasn't on the leftovers train immediately, but I learned how to get us both to love them a lot more. First, we did not give ourselves eating out money or pocket money to go out during the workday. We really forced ourselves to either take lunch from home that we made that morning, like sandwiches, or to use leftovers. And leftovers really give you a lot of variety. The next thing we did is we started instituting leftovers nights in our house. Now we call them fend for yourself nights, but we don't usually plan these nights in our meal plan anymore. When we first started doing this, we definitely had to. We would say, hey, we're planning 7 nights of meals, and one of those nights has to be a leftovers night. And that's how we did it back then. Now, because we've really built this muscle and we've built this skill, we can often at the end of the night when we're thinking, okay, what meal are we going to do tomorrow? We'll look at our fridge, and both as a couple, you'll hear us both say, well, tomorrow should be a fend for yourself night, because there are more leftovers in the fridge than we can reasonably eat for our lunches over the next couple of days. And when we see that, we just go, yep, leftovers night tomorrow. This is definitely a muscle we built over time, and we started with scheduling it into our meal plan. So if you're just starting out, that's a good way to do it, is to make sure you write it into your meal plan. The last thing I'll say about leftovers is to know what leftovers your family likes and enjoys. If you are cooking a meal and it's something your family doesn't generally enjoy as leftovers, then just cook enough for that night. Don't try to make more. Keep it very simple. Maybe bulk up with some side dishes if it's something that maybe it's a main. Make a lot more side dishes to get through the meal instead of planning on people having seconds or leftovers. Number 4, choose simple meals without shame. Some of our favorite comfort meals in our household come together in 15 minutes or less. You do not need elaborate meals for your family, and there's nothing wrong with keeping it simple. Think grilled cheese and tomato soup, spaghetti, taco mac and cheese, soup, chicken nuggets, and quesadillas. Any of these meals can be served with a simple steamed veggie, a side salad, or a side of cut up fruit and be much more nutritionally dense. But most people do like them. One of our favorite meals is crispy chicken nuggets over a Caesar salad. It's simple and it's delicious. I love cooking elaborate meals. Cooking is one of my love languages, but don't underestimate simplicity, especially when you're thinking about the budget. 5, double batch. Whenever you make something that freezes well, double it and stick some in the freezer. I love to do this with pastas and with soups. With pastas, often what I'll do if I make a spaghetti or a pesto, I make a pesto chicken pasta quite frequently as well. I'll add a bunch of mozzarella to it, have everything all mixed together, and I'll make it a pasta bake for another night. So it's the same basic meal, but presented a little bit differently. And it's very easy for Josh to go grab it from the freezer and put it in the oven when I have a late night with work. Number 6, prep foods you eat regularly and love. Veggie trays, fruits, dips, and salads are all staples in our house. We usually like to make sure we have one prepped, easy to grab snack or lunch staple in our house every single week. And just one. We don't try to put too much pressure on ourselves with this. If you can prep one snack a week for yourself rather than stopping to grab something or getting something that's pre-packaged, you will save money and usually end up choosing a more nutrient-dense option as well. Number 7, learn how to make garbage meals. Another big takeaway from the Yakima-Corie family for me was they taught me about garbage soup. Garbage soup is where at the end of the week, you look at your fridge and you look at the leftovers, the veggies, everything you have left in your fridge, and everything that's in your freezer and pantry. And you make a big batch of garbage soup using all the odds and ends. As your cooking skills develop, you really start to know what flavors work well together. And this is often really a highlight meal in your household because you get to know what things you have on hand and what works well. Actually, really helps you cook as well, learn how to cook. I have grown in my skills. I not only do garbage soup now, I also do garbage stir fry and garbage pasta. I find that these 3 vehicles, soups, stir fries, and pastas, are all 3 really great all-encompassing ways to use up odds and ends in your fridge, freezer, and pantry, depending on what flavor profiles that you may have. 8, freeze everything you can. Get familiar with what things you can and you can't freeze. You can freeze milk, bags of shredded cheese, and meat, of course. But have you thought about freezing veggie scraps so that you can make a veggie stock from scratch? Have you thought about freezing the leftover cheese Danish from a party you have at your house so you can enjoy it with a cup of coffee on a Saturday morning sometime in the future? This is something I have in my freezer right now, one lone cheese Danish in a Ziploc bag, and I'm gonna have it with a cup of coffee at some point, rainy weekend here coming up. You can also freeze peanut butter and jelly sandwiches so your kids can grab them out of the freezer before they head off to school and they'll be defrosted by lunchtime. These are easy ways that you can do a little bit up front and stock up on things when you have the time and money and keep them preserved. And not only do they save you money, they also save you time, which is great. Number 9, use the grocery pickup service. This saves me money in a few different ways. First, by not going to the store, I'm usually much less likely to have impulse purchases, which is definitely something that I personally am prone to. Grocery shopping is very exciting for me. I love to try new foods and new things, and it can be very dangerous for me to go into a grocery store. I do not have that kind of self-control, and I know it. Next, I'm able to add items to my pickup order throughout the week. So in my phone, in my Fred Meyer app, I add groceries as we start running out of things in our household. I add them to the grocery list throughout the week. And then when I get to the end of the week, I make sure that my ongoing meal plan is making use of the items that I already have in my house, of course, and then I'm filling in the blanks for things that are needed for upcoming recipes, and then I'm stocking up on the staples that I've run out of. And it's very easy to do when I keep a running list there in the app. Also, that running list gives me time to audit at the end of the week before I submit the grocery order. So I've been adding things all week long. Maybe something just sounded good, like, ooh, cookies sound good. And then I get to the end of the week and I'm like, okay, I really wanted to keep my groceries this week under $150 and I'm at $175. What can I cut? What doesn't need to be in this grocery list that I can cut to get us down to that $150 mark? So I'm able to audit that plan and go, yep, no, I probably don't need these cookies this week. Another pro to using the pickup service and using an app on your phone is the digital coupons are automatically prompted in your cart. So when I add items to my cart in the Fred Meyer app, before I go to checkout, you can actually see on there, it says that there are coupons available for the items you're already buying, and you can click and add those coupons and save yourself money that way. I am not a proponent of buying something just because there's a coupon for it or just because it's on sale, but I will definitely use coupons for things that I'm already buying, and I love that Fred Meyer makes that really easy for me. The last part of this is that my time is money. And anytime I can save time that is valuable and worth its weight in gold, the pickup service absolutely saves me time every week, at least an hour. Number 10, have a stock up budget. So this is some money aside from your normal grocery budget to stock up when you do see a good deal. For example, last year, pot roasts were on sale at my local Fred Meyer, which is where I do a majority of my grocery shopping. And they were buy one, get one free. And I didn't have money to even buy one in my normal grocery budget. I didn't have that room. But because I had a little money set aside that was for stocking up when I saw a good deal, I was able to buy a few at that really reduced price. Thanks so much for sticking around to hear my 10 tips on saving money on groceries. Like and subscribe for good vibes. And if you're interested in buying or selling real estate, please let me know and I'd be happy to connect you with a professional in your local area. I'll put a link down below for that. And also, if you're thinking about getting into real estate and you want to know what that's like, please click the link below. I will have another link for that as well. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one.